Chapter 19. The one who shouted at Princess Aisha was Siesta. She woke up no long after Ariana and Theodore met Princess Aisha and overheard all the conversations. After Siesta listened to the game that Arigos was playing, she was shocked because she knew who the people in the house were and didn't want Princess Aisha to make the wrong choice. What? What are you saying, Siesta? Didn't I leave Seal to you? I thought you took him to a safer place. Princess Aisha was taken aback by Siesta's words. She almost made a decision she would probably regret for the rest of her life. I'm sorry, Princess. I had to help Princess Alice before there were no soldier I could ask for help at the time, so I decided to hide Seal in that house. Siesta explained the reason she left Seal at the place. Right now, she felt guilty for making that decision. Where am I? Sister. Siesta suddenly heard a voice next to her. She saw that Princess Alice and Princess Freya had woken up from hearing her screams to Princess Aisha's earlier. Alice, Freya, thank God you guys are awake. Princess Aisha shouted happily that her sister and childhood friends was okay, but her face suddenly became gloomy after remembering that she was still in Arigo's game. I had to make her choice soon. Aisha, Ariana, Princess Freya tried to move when she saw Princess Aisha and Ariana, but she just realized that iron change bonded her body. Help me, sis. Princess Alice was terrified after discovering that she was in an iron cage. She could only cry while calling her sisters. Princess Aisha gritted her teeth as she felt tremendous pressure of circumstances after seeing Princess Alice and Princess Freya's situation. She was confused about which one to choose. Whatever her choice, she will regret it for the rest of her life. Princess Aisha's eyes were wet and tears finally dripped from her. Zeal. Princess Aisha mentioned the name of a butler who filled her heart recently, tears flowing freely from her eyes, her heart itching like it was being squeezed. I would probably break if she had to choose one of them. Clap, clap, clap. Suddenly there was a sound of applause from the sky, which woke Princess Aisha from her dilemma. Alright, that's enough for the reunion. Now it's time to start our game. Oh, to make it look like I'm a fair person, I take the 3 girls out of the iron cage, so won't they be hit by the fireball directly and scorched instantly. Get them out now. Arigos laughed heavily and told his subordinate to get the 3 girls out of the cage. Well, I'm starting the counts. 1, 2. Princess Aisha, please save Princess Freya. Oriana pleaded while kneeling in front of Princess Aisha. That's right, Princess. He's just a servant. Besides, there's also your sisters waiting to be saved. You have to sacrifice that servant. Theodore supported what Ariana said. No. You don't feel what I feel right now. Princess Aisha screamed from the top of her lungs, while tingly clutched her chest because she was feeling excruciating pain right now. 3, 4, 5. Princess Aisha. Princess. Ariana and Theodore urged Princess Aisha. Sis! Aisha! Princess Aisha! The three girls in Iron Cage were sad to see Princess Aisha's condition. 6. Princess Aisha finally started to move. Her hair was a mess, and her eyes were red like crying blood. She dashed towards Princess Freya and the other 7. I'm sorry, Zeal. Princess Aisha muttered sadly in her heart while enduring the pain. She keeps running towards the 3 girls right now. Her heart was breaking. 8. 9. After reaching Princess Alice and others, Princess Aisha hugged the 3 girls and activated the bracelet function. A grey torture cell instantly formed and protected the 4 of them. 10. Zeal. Princess Aisha shouted as slowly as she could, while extending her hand towards the house. Boom. Boom. Yes, that's a despaired face I want to see. Arigos laughed madly. Princess Aisha was silent with her eyes empty. She couldn't think of anything. At the moment, as her heart was shattered into pieces, she had chosen to sacrifice Zeal, the person who had filled her heart lately, to save others. Princess Aisha betrayed him by using the bracelet Zeal gave her as a gift to help someone other than Zeal. At this moment, tears flowed non-stop from her empty eyes. How about we play another game? Arigos chuckled as he licked his lips. Princess Freya and the others trembled. They don't know what the other games Arigos will play. But that's not a good thing. Princess Freya and Princess Alice saw Princess Aisha's appealing condition. She was like a human who lost her soul. Surely Zeal will understand what you are doing, sis. Princess Alice cried while hugging Princess Aisha, kneeling with a blank expression. Please be strong, Aisha. Our enemies are still here. Do you want to continue like that until that person destroys the Argent Kingdom? Princess Freya looked sadly at Princess Aisha after seeing her current state. Princess Freya finally knew who the man Princess Aisha had been talking about. Princess? Theodore and Ariana immediately rushed towards them as the explosion impact began to dissipate. How is Princess Aisha? Theodore asked worriedly. Princess Freya could only shake her head because she understood that Princess Aisha received an incredible mental attack, and she betrayed Zeal. Theodore gritted his teeth in anger after he saw Princess Aisha's condition. He couldn't accept that a servant could make Princess Aisha like that. Princess Aisha, he's just a servant, Theodore said unhappily. Stop, Theo. Don't you see the state of Aisha? Don't let your jealousy make a short-sighted person. Princess Freya shouted fiercely at Theodore because of his words. But Princess, Theodore still couldn't accept it. Stop, Theodore. We are still dealing with the enemy now. Princess Freya reminded Theodore with a severe face. Theodore reluctantly nodded and no longer spoke. He gritted his teeth again and again. Suddenly Arigo's voice interrupted their conversation. Let's start the game again. Arigo's words were suddenly cut off by the voice of his subordinates. Report, Lord Arigos. One of the winged men shouted and lowered his head in front of Arigos. Arigos frowned and having been bothered by his subordinates. How dare you interrupt me while I'm talking? If this isn't something important, I'll kill you, Arrigo said as he strangled his man's neck. The thing we're looking for has been found. We're ordered to withdraw, his subordinates said, with great difficulty, because Arrigo strangled his neck. I'm still not satisfied playing in this place, but since this is an order, then I have to obey it. In that case, I finished them off at once. Arrigos reluctantly obeyed the order for retreat. Princess Freya and others trembled after hearing Arrigos words. At a time like this, Princess Aisha's artifact couldn't be activated because the owner had lost consciousness. Arrigos raised her wand and cast her spell. He used all his strength to finish off Princess Aisha and others this time. Triple fireball. Arrigos was ready to fire his magic, but suddenly he heard a voice from the direction of the house he had just destroyed. Even Princess Aisha started to wake up after hearing that voice. Creak. Everyone looked at the gap between the ruin of the house. They saw a pair of eyes slowly open. After those crimson-colored eyes opened perfectly, everyone who saw them could feel tremendous pressure. Suddenly, those crimson-colored eyes sent chills down their spines. Everyone in the place was having a hard time breathing. Zeal finally woke up. After stabilizing the seal, the clear sky suddenly became cloudy. The ruins of the house exploded, and Zeal came out with a thick aura and mana shrouding him. The monster was reborn. Chapter 20. Back to when Siesta hid Zeal in the empty house and left him alone to chase after Princess Alice. Zeal slowly opened his eyes and looked around the house. I finally had time alone. Zeal sat down and focused on stabilizing his power seal. Zeal is in pain due to his magic circle, an area seal constantly glazing while stabilizing the seal. He felt a burning sensation while an intense heat that he had never felt in his previous life. Seal gradually stabilized his power seal by balancing the magic circle and aura seal to stop glazing. The seal could have stabilized if the two forces no longer clashed. I could coexist. This wasn't easy because the magic circle and the aura seal position were the same in all parts of my body, so if they stack up, they will clash again. Zeal sighed heavily. Zeal had long had the idea of balancing his two powers, but in reality it was not easy as Zeal imagined. Since his magic circle and aura seals kept clashing, he had to find another way while concentrating on his power. Zeal, sealed, could still see and hear what was happening outside the house. The sensation will become more sensitive when one's interactive. The number of aura seals of magic. Circular Seal was a demigod in his previous life and possessed 9 aura seals and a magic circle, so he was susceptible to his surroundings. Zeal heard explosions, magical beasts roared, and screams of people in pain. He could also see the trio of princes helping the injured victims but that's none of Zeal's business. Right now, he had to focus on balancing between his magic, circle and aura seals. As the two focus began to stabilize and an unexpected change suddenly occurred. Zeal grounded in overwhelming pain. When the magic circle and aura seal were balanced, the two powers suddenly clashed violently. Zeal felt pain at 9 points of his body, where aura seals and magic circles formed. After that, Zeal lost consciousness. Not long after that, Zeal woke up. From his unconscious state, he didn't know how long he had been unconscious. Zeal felt something different about him, but didn't know what it was. After he checked his entire body, he felt nothing different. But when he opened his magic circle and aura seal, he was speechless. Zeal's magic circle and aura seal became one and became a new form. Previously, Zeal's magic circle was an ancient magic circle, and his aura seal had the pattern of two coiled dragons. But after the two powers merged, the shape looked like two dragons encircling a magic circle in the center. In other words, Zeal could no longer call it a magic circle or aura seal, but a magic seal. My magic circle and seal aura fused and mutated with this. It can be said that the seal has stabilized completely. I will name this new form of power Magic Seal. Zeal nodded after checking the magic seal. While checking his newfound power, Zeal suddenly raised his eyebrows because he felt a fireball floating above the house he was hiding in. But he ignored it and intended to do something else once the seal stabilized. The next step is to unseal. I don't want anything bad to happen after I unseal my power. Zeal muttered and then closed his eyes. 9 magic seals appeared on his body, 2 of his knees, 2 of his wrists, 2 on his shoulders, 1 on the nape of his neck, 1 on his chest, and the last on his forehead. At the same time, magic seals with the same pattern and numbers as those on his body also appeared around him. The 9 magic seals floating around him had a magic chain in the center and were connected to each of the magic seals on Zeal's body. When Zeal wanted to serve the chains, he suddenly frowned as a fireball fell right on him. Huh. Zeal sighed heavily after knowing that. Boom. When everyone saw the explosion from the direction of the runes of the house, there suddenly felt tremendous pressure from the explosion, or rather from the person who caused the explosion. After the smoke and dust cleared, someone appeared from the ruins. That person was none other than Zeal. His mark was cracked, and his eyes and face could be seen a little. There were no more burns marked on his face as the seal had stabilized. On the contrary, her skin looked very smooth and glowy. The most striking thing about Zeal right now was his crimson-colored eyes, which gave off the feeling of a beast staring at its prey. Everyone in the place froze when they saw him, but there was a girl who could still speak in such a depression situation. Zeal. Princess Aisha mentioned his name softly while strolling towards him. Zeal also walked towards her. When they were very close and almost past each other, Princess Aisha intended to tell him something. Zeal, What are you? Princess Aisha was about to ask Seal about his condition, just when she thought Seal would stop in front of her. Seal walked past her without even giving her a glance, like Princess Aisha never existed. Princess Aisha froze and couldn't continue her words, tears slowly flowing from her eyes, and she felt an excruciating pain in her chest, because Seal acted like he didn't know her. Theodore was not happy after seeing that. Bastard, what did you do to the Princess Aisha? Theodore roared and slashed his sword with all his might towards Seal. Noisy, Seal said in a low voice without looking at Theodore. An invincible force sent Theodore flying tens of meters and crashing into one of the houses. Boom. Everyone who saw it was shocked at the sight of Theodore was senior knight with 4 hour seals, but he was blown away helplessly without doing anything. As Seal walked over to where Princess Freya and the others were, Princess Alice and Siesta looked terrified when they saw Seal's eyes. Ariana quickly stood in front of Princess Freya and the others to protect them, but when Princess Freya looked into Seal's eyes, she trembled violently, like she had been struck by lightning. It wasn't because she was afraid, but because of another feeling. After Seal passed Princess Freya and the others, he looked at a white-haired man floating in the sky. Arigos felt a chill run down his spine. As Seal stared at her, he subconsciously kept his distance from Seal. What kind of feeling is this? Could it be that I'm afraid of him? No, it's much scarier than fear. It's like a nightmare. Arigos was stretched in a cold sweat, and his body couldn't stop shaking. He couldn't move his body in the slightest, and was like a child being stared at by a beast. I don't like to talk while looking up, Seal said to Arigos that floated in the air. Then Seal released a tremendous pressure from his body. Calm down. After Seal said that, the tremendous pressure he released from his body knocked Arigos to the ground. Arigos groaned in pain. He tried to stand up, but couldn't move his limbs at all. So where should we start? Seal looked down at Arigos, who was slumped on the ground.